toward the ground. Only one option. The pilot sits on a pyrotechnic catapult. He ejects with a 20G blast. In less than 2 seconds, safety. This plant builds a product you hope you never use. Ejection seats.
Well, the Air Force does the boom.
Air Force pilot Brian Udell had to use his while traveling faster than sound.
The speed at which Dennis and I went out, neither one of us should have lived. The seats had never even been tested at that speed.
April 18th, 1995. During a night training mission off the coast of North Carolina, Brian begins a routine turn.
About 100 degrees through the turn or so, the problem was I started hearing wind rushing over the canopy. I started flying at a very young age. My father is who taught me, and he said, always trust your instruments, but always listen to the airplane because it will talk to you. And this airplane was definitely talking.
But in the pitch black sky, it tells him two stories. His heads-up display shows him at 24,000 feet on a right-hand turn. A backup instrument shows him at 17,000 feet, heading straight for the ground. Speed, 1,000 feet per second.
From 17,000 feet to 10,000 feet went by in just over 5 seconds.
Oh, it's gonna go.
I always briefed and used 10,000 feet as an out-of-control ejection altitude. That was the point in space that if I don't have control of this airplane, it's time to get out. I got in a body position, commanded the bailout, and pulled the handles. Basically, bail out, go. In that time frame, 4,000 feet went by. The canopy blew off at 4,500 feet. Dennis went out at 3,000 feet. I left the cockpit at 1,500 feet, got my parachute about 500 feet above the water. Had I waited even a half a second longer to pull the ejection handles through the sequence of events, I would have hit the water still in my seat.
The wind blast instantly killed his backseater, Dennis White.
The wind blast at 800 miles an hour, which is about the speed at which we went out, stops becoming wind and basically starts becoming a freight train. It immediately ripped my helmet mask right off my head. It broke all the blood vessels in my head and face. My head was literally swollen the size of a basketball. Lips were the size of cucumbers. There's metal bayonets that clip into the helmet. Both of those gouged right up my face. Took nice chunks of skin right out. My left arm blew out and into the wind stream. Dislocated my elbow, blew my arm backwards, and it tore the muscle across my chest. There's retaining bars down here on either side of the seat. They're supposed to keep your legs within the confines of the seat. Well, at this speed, it took those bars and bent them straight out. Now my leg goes out into the wind stream and starts whipping. The only thing holding my right leg on at the knee joint was the artery, the vein, the nerve, and the skin. That was it. It was pitch black. I could hear the parachute ruffling above me. I could feel the cold night air on my face, and I knew I had to get busy. My life preserver had never been tested at that speed and shredded, looked like rags hanging around my neck. Now I'm getting concerned. I'm going into the ocean, and I'm hoping my life raft doesn't look like my life preserver.
It didn't. After drifting and shivering for 4 hours, Udell was rescued by the Coast Guard.
I owe my life to the people that make this seat.